Coming up next on the Retirement Halftime Show, how you can avoid two of the biggest mistakes in your retirement planning. It may require a different way of approaching your investments, and how using a reverse mortgage could shore up your financial future. How one could work in your retirement roadmap. Plus, a side of IU basketball coach Mike Whitson you may not know. The business mogul, how he used his money to make the community a better place. And why helping your family is the mission for so many of us at ReJoyce Financial. Now, on the Retirement Halftime Show.
You wouldn't play a game the second half the same way you would the first, especially if you have the lead. This is the Retirement Halftime Show, helping you maintain your lead in retirement.
Welcome to the Retirement Halftime Show. I'm Heather McWilliams. Joining us is Alex Joyce with ReJoyce Financial. Alex, you've worked with all sorts of people in all different stages of their retirement planning. What would you say are some of the most common mistakes you see people make?
It's a great question. I think one of the common things or themes, Heather, is when people come in and they compare themselves to something, maybe not someone, but an idea, right? Or they say that, or they think that what they've worked hard for isn't quite enough because they're still kind of chasing it. You know, I'm not sure how other advisory firms operate or what's important or how they prioritize or the processes they have. But I know for certain that there's one thing we do really well, and that's retire people for real. There's many times that we've told a client, listen, you got a really expensive hobby and it's called work. It is in the way of proper planning, which means on to the next process piece, tax efficiency. You know, when we're looking at developing an overall plan, chasing return is probably near the bottom.
Okay.
We want our clients to make money, but we want to make sure that the portfolio is efficient, and we're in a place in the plan where if risk is warranted and the economy is such, then we'll take those steps. We'll carve out pieces, sleeve out pieces of the plan to be able to make that happen. If not, that's okay. Because they built what they built, and at that time, perhaps in their life, preservation and taking maybe a 7% versus a 20% is quite fine.
So you shouldn't really have a portfolio, set it and forget it.
Not, for most of our people, I mean, we're an actively managed firm, and I believe in that active management, proactive approach. I think that bringing people back in to make sure that life change doesn't make them a victim or their plan a victim is very important. And I think that a lot of our clients or a lot of the people we talk to, they're at a time in life where people are coming in their life. God forbid somebody is exiting their life. And so that is the recipe ultimately for life's change. It does happen. Whether we like it or not. And so there's certain things we can guarantee, and we're going to have a birthday, God willing, next year, right? So we want to make sure that we carve out the pieces necessary to spend, carve out the pieces necessary to save.
Right. And what I love about your firm, it's a holistic firm, right? And so you can help people at all stages of life and all stages of planning.
We do. I love working with young people. I love teaching financial literacy, right? A lot of my job, a lot of my time more than ever has been lately spent on education of middle-aged people or younger people getting started, right? Building processes to get them there. Because really nobody's teaching, right? I mean, nobody's teaching, where do I go to buy Apple stock?
Right.
What is the difference between a brokerage account or a self-directed IRA?
Right.
What is the difference between a SEP and a simple and a 401k, right? For a self-employed person. And so I think that when we lead with that approach, hence the fact we do this show, when we lead with that approach, and we educate the public, and we take that very serious, I think ultimately it is very personally rewarding, but good things just come out of the other end of it.
Because minimizing your tax liability, that's a full-time job. I don't feel like that's something you can just know.
You don't, and even CPAs that we've helped don't know that side of the business.
Right.
Advisors that we've helped don't know that side of the business. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so everybody has what they do in life, and they're professionals, right? For instance, I am not an engineer. I am not an auto mechanic. I am not a hod carrier, nor am I a bricklayer. I don't get on roofs after hail damage and poke around and assess the damage of the roof.
Right.
It's just not what I do. I do this, and I do this very well.
Right.
And I'm passionate about it.
You absolutely do. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't take on financial planning. I wouldn't have the first clue.
Right.
That's why it's so important to get someone like you. So So Alex, what is the best way if someone's thinking about getting a financial advisor? How do they make an appointment with you?
It's a great question, Heather. And I think the first thing I want somebody to do is take cost and eliminate it, because it doesn't cost anything. Take the idea where everything is in line and all your statements are ready and your whole thing is all put together. If that was the case, you wouldn't need us. And so come in as really readily, exposed as you may be. All we need is about 45 minutes, an hour, just to get a chance to learn more about the uniqueness of your family dynamic and see if there's anything we can do to possibly help. That's it.
You guys are doing some great things for people. Always great information, Alex.
Thank you.
And make sure you stick around because we have a whole lot more coming up.
Coming up next on the Retirement Halftime Show, IU basketball coach Mike Woodson on what retirement looks like for him. It may involve a lot of home maintenance work. Plus, understanding reverse mortgages. How to take advantage of this government program without giving up control or the deed to your home.
Schedule a visit today. Call 317-903-9157. Text Alexander today at 707-ReJoyce.
Your choice of coach matters. Choose the best financial coach in Indiana to be on your team. Alexander Joyce and the ReJoyce Financial team have the knowledge and bench strength to make your money last. Text 707-ReJoyce. That's ReJoyce with a Y. Or call 317-903-9157 to schedule a no-cost, no-obligation visit to get your retirement game plan in order. Your financial coach matters. Choose only the best. ReJoyce Financial.
You're watching the Retirement Halftime Show, powered by ReJoyce Financial.
Planning to win. Coaching strategies for financial success. Here's Alexander Joyce and Indiana University men's basketball head coach, Mike Woodson.
You're watching the Retirement Halftime Show. I am your host, Alexander Joyce, and with me today is Coach Woodson. We're here in Bloomington, and of course the theme is you would not play a game the second half the same way you would the first, especially if you got the lead. You know, you've been doing this a while. A long time. A long time. I hope my genes are as strong as yours, man. You look great. What does retirement look like for you?
Well, again, I'm approaching 65.
Are you really?
Yeah.
My goodness.
And I don't know how long I'll coach. I love what I do.
Sure.
It's funny. Before I got this job, when the media was so harsh, when they said, hey, he was too old, he can't recruit, he hadn't been back to Bloomington 42 years. Well, that wasn't true.
Right.
I basically took the money that I made in the NBA, my 11 years that I played, and I brought it back home to Bloomington.
Absolutely.
I invested it in this city. And
absolutely.
So a lot of my business dealings are right here in Bloomington from a real estate standpoint.
Sure.
And so I've been able to navigate playing, coaching, and handle my business affairs from a real estate standpoint here in Bloomington. And with the likes of Scott May and Steve Ferguson, Bill Cook, some of my very close friends, Matt Ferguson, my CPA, Leanne Mary, who's been with me for 42 years. We've been able to put a model in place for me and my family.
Sure.
That will be around long after I'm gone. And that's what you talk about legacy, and I'm not the wealthiest person in the world, but I'm happy in my skin in terms of the things that I've been able to do in my life. I can go and come, I can pay my bills, my taxes, and do all the comfortable things that a lot of people, can't do, and that's why I feel so fortunate.
Sure.
I tried to give back and help people that are a little less fortunate than I am. So I think that's the most refreshing thing about what you do.
Right.
If you experience some success, you got to give back.
You do.
And I'm very happy where I am in my life. I don't know how long I'm going to coach. My mentor, Larry Brown, is 80 plus years old. I don't know if I'll go that long. I got to start enjoying some of this.
That's right.
Why I'm here in Bloomington coaching this great university's team, I got to make the most of it and just see where it leads us, man. I mean, because I am in a unique situation.
Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, being blessed and blessing others is huge, right? I mean, we do a lot of that. I think it seems to be that the calling has been on children, right? Whether that's helping Jerry's Kids or March of Dimes or Riley or whatever that looks like, and that's absolutely true. One of the things that when we're sitting down in terms of our process in our practice in our firm, right? The first step being we call it a discovery, I call it a visit, because it's judgment, right? I mean, we want people to come in and we want them to feel welcomed. We want them to sit down, and we simply want to have a conversation about what the goals are. Get to know the person, because we know this, right? And they know this, right? That we're not perfect for everybody. Everybody's not perfect for us, but it takes a little bit of time to determine that factor. Right? To determine where we go from here. Kind of like a first date, right? Nobody gets married on a first date. Some, few far between. But we want to just understand what the priorities are so we can prioritize and best meet and manage expectations. And one of the things that you mentioned that I'll rattle about for a moment is that legacy. One of the big questions I always ask a client or ask somebody that I'm meeting with is their assets, is the purpose of the money and things, money and stuff, is the purpose, is it live on or is it leave on? And once we determine that fork in the road, what direction we go, whether left or right, then we can plan according to that goal. If it is legacy planning, a lot of our clients want to do that. A lot of our clients want to leave a legacy behind, whether that's money or stuff or a combination of both. But then we slow down and we think, well, what is the objective? Do we have a probate concern? Are we trying to bypass probate, right? That's a clear distinction between wills and trusts, right? TODs and PODs, right? How do we categorize those assets? Or do we know that if we leave certain types of money, wealth, if you will, is it a tax issue? Are we leaving a tax bill behind? Such is true with the majority of the assets people have acquired, which is qualified money, pre-tax dollars, a 401k or a 403b or 401a, 457 plan, TSP, whatever it is that individuals are putting money in, pre-tax, that money builds. That's the largest percentage of assets in our country, pre-tax dollars. We call that mountain. When you get to the top of the mountain, it's good to have pre-tax money, but going down, it's bad to have pre-tax money because eventually at a certain age, we got to pay taxes. And so when we see that and we understand that, we want our clients to notice that, the goal would be, how do we plan around that? It's like if you've saved $1 million, you've got a 30% bill to the IRS, and are you ready to pay that bill today? Most would say no, right? Most would say, how do I make that go down? And so we build plans around that. In terms of legacy planning, generally jumping to next generations can be challenging because there is one person or one entity that wants that. That's the IRS. Right? Such is true when we leave qualified or IRA money to the next generation. We've got an RMD and we've got a tax bill that generation has to pay at their tax bracket. So how do we plan around that? And so, it is challenging when it comes to estate planning because most people say, I don't really think about a will today because when do you execute a will? Right. Nobody wants to think about that. No, I don't want people to think about that. I want people to think about estate planning as a tool for living, as opposed to a tool for dying. And preparation and planning is key.
Still to come, 10 ways a reverse mortgage may work in your financial picture. What you need to know before you accept or reject the idea. And understanding risk. Learn the details about 4 types of risk that may impact your financial gains. This is the Retirement Halftime Show powered by ReJoyce Financial. Call 317-903-9157 and schedule a no-cost, no-obligation visit today to discuss your financial future.
Retirement isn't a game to lose. Your financial future hinges on every play. Follow Alexander Joyce in the ReJoyce Financial Playbook to score the points that set you up for life. Win at retirement by calling 317-903-9157 and schedule a no-cost, no-obligation visit to get your retirement game plan in order. Don't lose where it counts the most. Call 317-903-9157 to schedule a visit now.
You're watching the Retirement Halftime Show, powered by ReJoyce Financial.
You're watching the Retirement Halftime Show. I'm your host, Alexander Joyce, and with me today is Angie Paisley. She is our Medicare Director as well as Office Manager for our Processing Division. So you see a lot, right? And you experience a lot. Any life we change, because that is the one thing that I am the most passionate about. Is the value proposition of our practice is if we can change life, make a difference, we can do business with no minimum. When the first time someone walks in our office, or when we educate them in a public event, if you will, I say it all the time. I say that we really don't care how much money you have. We really just want to know more about what the why is, or your goals, or what you're trying to accomplish, because everybody has a burning desire to do something. These people that we've helped have worked their entire lives, whether it be 30 or 40 or some of them 50 years, retired more than once. And what we've done over the years, and you being a part of it, is we've surrounded ourselves with people in our team. There's a lot of people on our team that are like-minded, and we share the same vision, same goals. And just like I've done for myself, and hopefully my passion comes through, it's the why. It's the burning desire of why we do what we do. And I want our audience, we've been doing this show for a long time, and I want people to hear from you about what your why is. Why do you do what you do? Why are you a part of this team? What is, why do you share in our mission?
Thanks, Alex. I'd love to share that with everyone. I watched my mother go through some pretty bad health stuff at a really young age. And watching my family struggle with it and pick up the pieces and make the phone calls and pay the costs, there's something wrong with the system. And I know that I can't fight the system. I'm not trying to make any changes. But when I was given the opportunity to have this new role, get these certifications, and become a Medicare agent, I was really excited because this was pre-joining ReJoyce, and the back office that I had was completely focused on education first. And that's how I was trained. We don't care if we get the sale. We're out to teach people all of these nuances, all of these differences, so that they can learn what is the best decision for them. And when I was able to join the team and come over here, and that education first mission was shared, it was a really good fit. And I just love the opportunity to give this presentation and teach people some stuff and really show them how it works.
Yeah, I think that is really, really critical. And I think that you hit the nail right on the head. And I think it takes a moment in someone's life, and I have my own story, of course, where you kind of see it, right? Mm-hmm. You kind of wallow in it for a minute, and it's a fork in the road. Right. You go down the right path, you go down the wrong path, or what do you do with that, right? We're blessed enough in life to have two good eyes, and if we're blessed enough to have 10 fingers and 10 toes, mm-hmm. I think that we have the ability to make a difference. And I think that if our moral compass is pointing in the right direction, and our burning desire is to change a life, it will come through if we are focused on just the commission. Right. Or just the sale, right? Because you don't even remember the people's names, right? I remember when I first started this with 0 clients, where I could be out, or we were doing a client appreciation event, and there was, years later, hundreds and hundreds of people there. And my clients would say the same. And I could look at each one of those people that I shook hands with and call them by first name. Yeah. And that is it truly means something to us.
It does.
Right?
It does.
And I can tell it means something to you, and I think it's just an awesome feeling.
It is.
It
is.
And I think that when we try to fight the system and we try to do it a different way, we know that it's challenging and there's hurdles, mm-hmm. right? And our industry is difficult. There's horror stories, mm-hmm. and so I think the number one thing that we can ask for people is a little bit of time. A leap of faith with a tiny bit of trust. Right. And I think that if we can ask for that by proving ourselves, hence the fact we don't have a minimum, right? I think for a lot of people, we haven't established the right to ask for everything they've saved in their entire life,
Sure.
right? I think we have to start somewhere, and I think that there's some barriers there. And some people in our industry, some people that we help have been burnt, they've been stung.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that we have to realize that and then understand that it's their life work. They've built this. We just want to help.
That's right.
Right?
That's
We
right.
just want to get them to the next level. We want to give them everything we got. And so I really appreciate your passion, your team, because you're the head of that team and they know that, and your passion drives through to them as well. And so we ask for a little bit of yours. We ask for a little bit of time, that leap of faith, just so we can see if it can help a family and change a life. We thank you for your time. You're watching the Retirement Halftime Show. We'll be right back. There's more show to come.
Next on the Retirement Halftime Show, digging deeper into reverse mortgages. Why one may be a good fit for your financial future. Learn the ups and downs before signing on the dotted line.
Schedule a visit today. Call 317-903-9157. Text Alexander today at 707-ReJoyce.
The journey to retirement takes many twists and turns. Don't take that trip alone. Let the team at ReJoyce Financial be your co-pilot. The expert team of financial planners can create a roadmap that gets you to your goals. They'll work with you to create a financial plan that gives you confidence and peace of mind. Start the process today. Call 317-903-9157 or text 707-ReJoyce. Rejoice in your retirement.
You're watching the Retirement Halftime Show, powered by ReJoyce Financial.
You're watching the Retirement Halftime Show. I'm your host, Alexander Joyce, and with me today is Tim Ayers. We are talking about mortgages, specifically in this segment, Tim, reverse mortgages. And I think that, in many ways I get a lot of questions about this. That's why I wanted to talk about it. But, a lot of the things I hear when clients, people ask me about my opinion in reverse mortgage, the same way I would answer that question if somebody asks me if they're overpaying in their taxes. Well, this firm is holistic and we have people designed, dedicated for that purpose, that need, and you are a mortgage guy. And so I want to jump in both feet. You have created this list, right? And it's really unique because it goes over the 10 ways to use reverse mortgages. Not saying that we are promoting reverse mortgages, and I'm not saying that we are against reverse mortgages. The same way we are non-biased when it comes to individual stocks, mutual funds, or ETFs.
Right.
And so it is just they're a place, could be a place in a portfolio, and people have questions. And so my job is to get those questions answered. And so maybe perhaps, Tim, go through maybe a high level, if you will, not too much detail, because we want to give people this list. This list, again, is top 10 ways to use these reverse mortgage funds.
Right.
What are maybe some top of mind things that we want to go over or through when it comes to reverse mortgages? What are the things, in your opinion, that people need to know right now?
The age limitation, 62.
Okay.
And or older. And the older you get, the more that is available in the reverse mortgage. Now, a reverse mortgage is actually just a slang term for a HECM, or home equity conversion mortgage. So you're converting your home equity into a mortgage that then is paying you instead of you paying your mortgage.
That's a big takeaway, I think.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
You're welcome. And so again, my what I'm hearing is that, reverse mortgage is a fancy word for a HECM, home equity line of credit.
A home equity line of credit.
Okay.
That isn't a line of credit, because a HELOC or a home equity line of credit, you have to pay back.
Right.
But
Right.
a HECM, or a home equity conversion mortgage, you never have to make a payment. So you never have to pay it back. And I mean, you don't. Now, if you have to move into a retirement center or a healthcare facility or something like that and have to give up your home, the government doesn't want your house. They've had that happen in 2008. That is not fun. They would prefer you sell it or give it your children a chance to buy it. And so the cost of that house would then be what you owe all that you owe on the reverse mortgage.
I see.
So whatever you have used, that's what they can buy it for. If you have used more than the value of your home, they don't have to buy it, and there is nothing that goes against their inheritance, your children's inheritance.
I see.
All right?
I see.
The government then owns that whole thing.
Because I think one of the misconceptions, what's confusing to people is when they think that, and I've heard this many times, and I think, I've read this, I've done a tons of years of research on this thing, that when they do a reverse mortgage, they are giving away their property, right? I think people think that it is no longer theirs. They do a reverse mortgage in return for either assets, right? Kind of like a HELOC, right? They take the money out and then they give up control. They can live there, but they give up control of the property. Should people be viewing a reverse mortgage that way?
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Because you are on the deed. That's it. You are on the deed. You are on that reverse mortgage. You can live in that property until the day you die.
And you can still sell that proproperty.
You can still sell that at
deed
any
that
point.
property. You still have ownership.
Yes, exactly.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I think that, the top 10 ways to use reverse mortgages, this list that we call it, this document that we want people to have, this deliverable, if you will. I think people need to call, hit the QR code, or text us to get this list. I think it's a very powerful tool to educate people. Just if they have questions about, I want to learn more about that, or I have questions and concerns about that. Maybe they don't want to talk to me. Maybe they don't want to talk to you, Tim, right? And they just want to read, and that's fine, right? And what they want to read and take the time to kitchen table this thing, scrub through it, highlight it, write all over it. That's what that is for, because we get a lot of questions, concerns about reverse mortgage. Act now, get this list. Tim, I really thank you for clearing some of that up. We could talk about this thing all day. We'll limit it to just 5 minutes, right? But get this list today, folks. You're watching the Retirement Halftime Show. Stay tuned. There's more show to come.
Hoping to have enough income to last through retirement isn't a strategy. It's a recipe for failure. Everyone needs a tangible plan. ReJoyce Financial can help you get on the right path. Come in for a visit and let's discuss what's going on with your financial well-being. We're an inclusive team that won't offer judgment, only ideas on how to make your money work for you. Give us a call at 317-903-9157. Let us help you rejoice in retirement.
You're watching the Retirement Halftime Show, powered by ReJoyce Financial.
Today's tip of the week for stronger financial health. If you're juggling paying several different credit cards and seeing the interest add up every month, you may want to consider debt consolidation. It may help make paying off your debts more manageable, since there will only be one due date and one interest rate to keep track of. There are many ways to consolidate debt, but 3 of the most popular ways are through a loan, a balance transfer credit card, or an agency that specializes in debt consolidation. Keep in mind, there will likely be upfront costs, such as loan origination or balance transfer fees. The interest rate could potentially be higher too. To help you decide if it's worth it, figure out your weighted average interest rate, add up your debt balances, then add up the interest paid in dollars on each account. Divide the debt total by total interest paid and multiply that number by 100 to get the percentage interest rate. Compare your weighted interest rate to debt consolidation offers. Today's tip of the week for stronger financial health.
Thank you for watching the Retirement Halftime Show. If you have questions about today's show, give us a call, send us a text, or go to our website. Most importantly, maintain your lead in retirement. I'm Alexander Joyce, and I'll see you next time.